Welcome back to Indiana Diecast Racing and the continuing action of the Final Fantasy Fracas. Today we've got groups 39, 40, and 41 of round 2. For group 39, it's Grey Wizard again for Golden Owl Racing. GOR already has 2 cars in round 3 and 1 more yet to race after this hot tub. Looking to join, well, herself in round 3 for Vapor Racing, it's Dangerous Dawn. DD won her group in the first round and would be more than happy to pad Vapor Racing's already impressive tournament stats. Representing Arlo Racing in a bright orange Di Macchini Veloce, it's George Surface. Surface won his first round group on the back of a pair of lap victories, despite only putting up 9 total points. Combating cleanup, it's No Patience Nana from Puff's Aluminum Squad. The only remaining entry from that particular 4 of Puffs also won her group despite only scoring 9 points, edging out all 3 other drivers by a single point. Wizard and Dawn up front, George and Nana in the back. Coincidentally, Nana in the back is the name of my band. We mostly do Christian hip-hop, but occasionally dabble in the specific part of country western popular only in Soviet Russia. It's a pretty even start, but Dawn floors it through 2. Nana, unable to keep up, now drops to the back. George is pressuring Wizard. Now Nana tries to pass George, and lap 1 is fast and clean, Vapor Racing with the early advantage. We are quickly nearing the end of round 2 with only 5 groups remaining after today's video, and while folks aren't directly saying it, I know everyone's starting to wonder what the next tournament will be. More accurately, they're probably wondering when it will be. Well, I'm not clairvoyant, people, but based on how long it's taken to get here, I'm guessing we're looking at sometime around Christmas or Thanksgiving of 2024 to get the FFF wrapped up. More on that in a moment. George takes lap 2. Ooh! And No Patience Nana gets absolutely obliterated at the line. While track officials check on her status, we'll go right to replay to see what happened. Surface did a great job getting and staying out front this lap, and Wizard threw a slide block on the final straight, while Dawn dangerously barreled down on the pair, launching Nana into the air and amazingly into the finish funnel. Wow, I think she actually ricocheted off her nose, and that's what kept her on track. George launches himself from 3rd to 1st, while Dawn's donut drags her all the way to the back with her competitor, Nana. Nana assumes the pole, Dawn dangerously behind on the inside lane. So, as I was saying, when this channel reaches 1,000 subscribers, which we're only 9 away, I will announce a fan vote to help determine the theme of the next tournament. Nana out front and Dawn helps her stay there. They spread out a bit, and lap 3 is Nana, Dawn, George, and Wizard. They sure are spreading the points around as Nana becomes the 3rd driver in 3 laps to lead the group. She and George take a marginal lead into the final lap. Dawn and Nana up front, and Dawn's quickly pulling ahead. Wizard able to get ahead of Nana as Dawn takes off. Dawn wins, Wizard is 2nd, Nana 3rd, and George pulls up the rear. Dangerous Dawn wins the group, and No Patience Nana will follow her to round 3, edging out Wizard and Surface by a point. On to group 40, and I bet racing won't be that smooth. Numbskull's on track again, this time in his crescendo. In the first round, this Numbskull Racing entry only tied Jack Crow of FPB for the group win, despite putting up 13 points. From Flips Racing, driver number 2 is Smooth Keith Stone in his Unobtainium. SKS beat out Sneaky Bob II and Lou Hondo to win his group in round 1. From Uncle Elvis Racing, Heather is driving her Unicorn that she took to a 2nd place finish behind Flip in round 1. Unfortunately, to fit on the new track, Heather had to get a bit of a haircut. And looking to enact some sort of personal endgame, Thanos is back on track for Arlo Racing, ironically in his horseplay, complete with the tiniest Infinity Stones. Last round, Thanos only managed a trio of second-place finishes behind teammate Sarah Moy. We've got Numbskull, Keith, Heather, and Thanos here on lap 1. They round the first corner and Numbskull's out front, but Keith is going to pass him in turn 2. Numbskull battling with Thanos for second and fends him off. Heather is way in the back as they come to the final straight, and it's Keith, Numbskull, Thanos, and Heather slides sideways to a stop just short of the line. The crossover lane proving strong again, and Thanos was nearly able to follow Keith around turn 2 to get in front of Numbskull. But the unfeeling Cranium shows his grit, hangs on through Echo Base, and manages to grab second. Smooth Keith Stone, number 1 after 1. Heather and Numbskull up front for lap 2. At 186 grams, Heather is the heaviest entry in the entire tournament. She gets a push from Thanos and looks strong. Ooh, but that long chassis is slow in turn 2, allowing Numbskull and Keith to pull ahead. Group 40 spreads out, and it's Numbskull, Keith Stone. Oh no! Heather is rolled onto her side, and Thanos is trapped behind her massive unicorn body on the north side of the Savage Square. Heather looked poised to lead lap 2, but as we've seen with many other the longer vehicles, she loses a ton of speed in turn 2. Numbskull and Keith dominate the first half. It's an all-underdog front row for lap 3, and I'm sure Thanos is excited to start with clean air. He gets a big push from Keith, as Heather is slow in turn 2 again, and this is Arlo's chance to get in the competition. Keith keeps pace with Thanos, but it's Thanos who takes the lap victory. Numbskull rolls in for a distant third, and Heather has tragically wrecked again in the square. That'll all but wrap things up, as Thanos is still looking at a 3-point deficit with 1 to go. Thanos in that prime P2 spot, he's really got to push for the advantage, but he fails again to gain the lead, and it's going to take a miracle now. Keith and Numbskull will finish 1 and 2, and that's how the group will shake out. Flips Racing and Numbskull Racing add to their round 3 teams. Last group of the day, and we kick it off with Bay City Daryl driving for Rust Belt Diecast in a Nerve Hammer. Daryl stomped his group in round 1, putting up 13 points. Another driver for Flips Racing, it's the head honcho himself, driving a zoom-in jackhammer Frankenstein that he piloted to a group win in round 1 over the now eliminated Heather. At 165 grams, Flip is now the heaviest remaining vehicle in the tournament. Driving a GT Scorcher, and the last remaining entry for Nick Devers Racing, Matthew Devers is in the number 80. In the first round, Matthew took second place behind Bree Nanner of Filipiak Performance Diecast. And the 12th and final driver intro of the day, it's Numbskull again, this time in his Wild Card Showdown Bracket Champion Hot Wheels 50 concept. He could be the 3rd wildcard winner to make round 3. Daryl and Flip start up front, Matthew and Numbskull in the back. They're off, and Flip quickly outclasses the field. Daryl and Numbskull close on Flip just a bit, but they're not gonna catch him. Looks like Matthew was stalled in turn 2 for some reason. And the group favorites take the top 2 spots to open the battle. Deaver's on the pole, Daryl outside. While it's unlikely you watch my channel and not Bay City Diecast, make sure to get over there and see the awesome new track Daryl's unveiled, as well as his Top 3 Turvy tournament currently underway. Flip shoves Daryl through turn 2, and the pair are well ahead of Matthew and Numbskull. Deaver's a little wild in the S. Daryl spins and takes the win just ahead of a flying flip. Matthew claims third, and Numbskull uncharacteristically fourth. That's hard to say. Some surprisingly clean racing today, not lending itself to replays. Numbskull assumes the pole, and I think we're all looking forward to seeing what he does from the front row. He benefits from the flip train, and they get well ahead of the other lane. There's the Numbskull we remember as he flies to a lap 3 victory, making that 3 different lap winners in 3 laps. Deavers is on his roof, and Bay City Daryl will be collected for a double DNF. And that, well, could be dangerous for Daryl, as it allows Numbskull to tie it up for second place, heading to the final lap of the day. Numbskull up front outside, Daryl back inside, and Flip on the pole, who is 3 points up but not entirely safe. Daryl chases Flip while Numbskull struggles to keep up. Daryl will edge out Numbskull by a quarter second, and that will bring an end to Numbskull's second chance run for glory. Flip with another impressive run, he could easily be a contender for the finals. And updating the standings, Numbskull and Vapor eke ahead of Arlo for the highest total. Flips Racing makes it 6. Tournament sponsor Rust Belt adds probably their best entry to round 3, and Puffs adds 1 to hit the turkey. Congratulations to Smooth Keith Stone, Flip, Numbskull, Dangerous Dawn, No Patience Nana, and Bay City Daryl. This has been Jim D for Indiana Diecast Racing. Be sure to check in next time for more slightly above mediocre diecast racing and the continuing round 2 action of the Final Fantasy Fracas.